Hey everyone, Chloe here and welcome back to another video. And if you are new to our feminine community, ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers, welcome. So of course I wanted to share my elevated thoughts on this highly publicized Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan breakup. And of course, my thoughts will be expressed from a feminine, a hypergamous, and from a womanhood perspective. And of course, in spite of the wig melting and the flies to a banana comments and the out-of-pocket reactions to this breakup, it is very important for me as a feminine woman to allow things to cook, to simmer, and to marinate, and to process, as opposed to being an internet bloodhound who's looking to pounce onto the public failures of others, or who is looking to milly rock or to do the Dougie when a very public breakup happens. And I understand a lot of people on these very mean internet streets are very low on empathy, sympathy, and compassion, and maturity, and emotional intelligence. But when it comes to these kinds of stories, people tend to forget that these are two people who are still very much hurting. But for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who have been living under a rock, in a formal and in a very canned press statement to People magazine, Hollywood actor Michael B. Jordan and Lori the Don Harvey have officially decided to call it quits after a little over a year of exclusive dating. So as of now, Turtle and Nugget are over, and as of now, there will be no wedding, there will be no rice thrown, there will be no marital hypergamous babies, and Michael B. Jordan will not be Steve Harvey's son-in-law. And now both Lori and Michael are outside and will be having their DMs flooded as we speak. Now, people break up and divorce every day. So there will definitely be a bit of conversation in this video about my very honest thoughts about Michael B. Jordan and as to why the public has such a visceral fascination with the romantic lives of others, as this obsession is as American as cherry pie. And because of this obsession, there will be all kinds of goofy internet conspiracy theories, a lot of tongue wagging, nasty rumors, a lot of confirmation bias, and a lot of nasty, unfair speculation and distorted feelings being turned into facts when it comes to those of us who are on the outside looking in of celebrity and influencer culture. But the truth will always be, speculation aside, that only these two people can truly know why their relationship didn't work. But with that being said, I will share a few strong hypergamous thoughts and opinions that make sense to me. Now, when Lori Harvey showed up to this year's Met Gala and walked the red carpet by her lonesome, that, in my opinion, was a huge red flag sign of a relationship that was on the outs. Because a romantic relationship, ladies and gentlemen, is either growing or it is dying. Or one person in the relationship is usually clinging onto the hope, and that is usually a woman who ends up clinging onto the hope and the emotional investment of happily ever after when a marriage has not taken place. So from a womanhood perspective, I knew that there was trouble in paradise when Michael did not publicly walk the red carpet with Lori at the Met Gala. Because even Miss Kim, center of attention Kardashian, showed up with skeet to let the entire world know, tattoo initials on the neck and all, that they are a thing and that they are serious about each other, rebound energy and all. Now, I don't believe that Lori and Michael's relationship was completely fake or fabricated, but more than likely he isn't in love with her and she very well may not be in love with him. And thank God these two didn't drag it out for over 5, 10, 15, or 35 years. Lori Harvey got out early. And that is one cautionary tale lesson to learn from this breakup, which is to know when to cut your losses and when to move on, as opposed to clinging out of desperation or out of the belief that this is as good as it's going to get. Ladies and lurkers, when two people are meant to be together, they will be together even if that means breaking up, spinning the block, and realizing that you found your person all along. But no matter what the echo chamber says, losing at love doesn't always have to be a negative, a humiliating, or an embarrassing thing. Because losing in many ways builds character, and in many ways can teach a woman how to walk away from a man who may look good on paper, but who is not the right energetic match or who is not the right fit for her. And this is what I call having a winning feminine mindset. Now, some people are going to find 1,001 petty and weirdo ways to blame Lori Harvey for this breakup, and many femcells are going to find a way to blame Michael because a lot of black folks tend to take romantic relationships for a joke. But boys and girls, this is what hypergamous dating looks like live in the flesh. It means being courted. The more successful the man, the better. It means taking a chance and a risk on love. Dating is a meeting of the minds and of the heart and of the bedroom. Dating is about deciding whether chemistry or compatibility will work in the long term with this person. And contrary to popular belief, dating has never meant one and done. And dating has always involved kissing a couple of frogs before you find your prince, so that you aren't out here struggling in baby daddy buyer's remorse. But we all know that the dust bonnets and the dusty internet basement critters and their Hall of Fame hate who live on planet misery are always going to use these kinds of breakup stories to spin a narrative on the worth of women, and particularly and disgustingly on the worth of black women, and will spin a narrative to weaponize this breakup to devalue a beautiful black woman, a woman who is only 25 years old, and a woman that they will never have access to, who has every right to date, who has every right to explore, who has every right to learn from trial and error, and who has every right, in spite of the heartbreak, to move on and to find a better compatibility match. This, ladies and lurkers, is what I call having a winning mindset, where you are the feminine prize instead of waiting like a loyal hound dog to be chosen. Now, as for the meltdowns and wigs exploding and the spiraling and the grieving that some women are doing over this high profile breakup, I get it. Lori Harvey is considered the Black American princess socialite who gives young black women that very rare visual feminine representation, and she gave a lot of young black women hope by publicly upgrading from the struggle love of the self-proclaimed toxic king that is Future and his baby mama choo-choo train, and by course correcting by breaking the hypergamous glass ceiling by being on the arms of one of Hollywood's most visibly successful and accomplished A-list actors. So in many ways, I can understand why so many black women admired the come up, and in many ways who needed and who wanted her to publicly win. And yes, even though I would never fully endorse living vicariously through the lives of complete strangers, I do understand the importance for black women to have that glory, and for black women to have that elevation, and for black women to have that public example of that feminine pedestal that ends with a happy ending, just like our hypergamous living legend and the people's champ, Mrs. Sierra Princess Wilson. But this pressure, in my opinion, is a very unfair assignment given to Lori Harvey, because I am sure that Lori has never ever asked the public to be a hypergamous shero or to be a good-looking public trophy doll. But in the church of hypergamy and in the name of self-preservation, I am very proud of Lori's ability to move on. Lori Harvey is Marjorie Harvey's daughter, and both Lori and her killer abs will be okay. And in spite of the dust buckets who are doing the most, who are doing backflips, and who are milli rocking over this breakup, and who are doing whatever it will take to help them sleep better at night, Lori's life is not over. She is still very young, and she still has time to date, to explore, and to find hypergamous love. And in spite of this breakup, and just a reminder to the listening public, Lori Harvey lives a very privileged life. So no matter what, Lori Harvey is up and the basement bloodhounds will remain stuck. But in spite of how good looking a couple can aesthetically and superficially look together, please keep in mind that incompatibility and a lack of chemistry are real, and that chemistry and compatibility are way more important in the long-term success of a romantic relationship than in being in a phony relationship that makes the public happy, or even better, to make black women happy. So in my opinion, this is an open and shut case of a mutually beneficial relationship that has run its course. And a year together is a reasonable cutoff point and is a reasonable amount of time to determine when you aren't the one for him and when he isn't the one for you. So at least it didn't take these two a bajillion mulebone years to figure that out. Now, as for Michael, did Michael Creed Jordan use Lori Harvey as an opportunity to pander to black women with a beautiful black girl? Who's to say? I do think that it is reasonable to believe that he felt pressured to be very scripted and rehearsed with his romantic choices because of the onslaught of the rumors and the opinions that have constantly come from having his love life picked apart, as that is what comes with the Hollywood territory. And yes, I do believe that he felt pressured to capitulate and that he felt pressured to be an inauthentic version of himself, because now every woman in the world is going to navel gaze at his next romantic move and will be writing 1,001 think pieces on his romantic choices moving forward. And my best advice to him is to move like Jamie Foxx, who moves in silence and who absolutely does not give a damn about being trapped and cornered in nobody's relationship prison. So that is all that I have to say on this for now. And I said a mouthful, and I will let you guys have fun in the comments. But my best feminine advice to Lori Harvey is to remain as mysterious as possible while continuing to mind the hypergamous business that pays her, and to keep her romantic enterprises off of social media, because what people don't know, they can't ruin. Lori is Marjorie's daughter, and Marjorie knows all of the tricks of the hypergamous trade. And hopefully these two can be friends, and I wish these two the best. But to open up the floor for conversation, what are your thoughts, boys and girls? Are you proud that this relationship didn't drag out, or are you disappointed? Was this breakup water is wet news? Was this a PR relationship created out of convenience? Did these two both use each other? And can Michael B. Jordan now date white women in peace? And as always, stay tuned for more elevated perspective to come. And I will catch up with you ladies and lurkers and ear hustlers in the next one.